Joplin homeowners could save thousands on home repairs thanks to a Joplin homeowner rehabilitation program. I'm Melissa Alexis, and I'll have the details coming up.
Plus, a Pittsburgh jewelry store warns of a common scam in the area regarding fake gold jewelry. And some students in Arma, Kansas head down to Quapaw, Oklahoma for a field trip to 5 Mile Camp.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. The city of Joplin is relaunching its homeowner rehabilitation program. It's part of a plan for continuing the city's community revitalization efforts. KOAM's Melissa Alexis has more.
Home repairs can be expensive for homeowners. The Joplin Rehabilitation Program will help homeowners in specific Joplin neighborhoods with these costs.
Anytime you're able to put a new roof or new siding and windows on a home, it's going to extend the life of that home. It'll increase the housing stock.
Availability of funds will be on a first-come, first-served basis.
So if you have a need, it's best to get your application in so that they can start working on assessing your home and doing inspections.
The program mainly helps with exterior repairs, not exceeding $25,000 per home.
HVAC, roof, siding, and windows, and we're still taking applications for that.
They'll base approval on home location and an inspection of the home.
To make sure the homeowners are in the four approved census tracts, and then we'll be going out and doing the inspections and assessing the needs.
This program was made possible through a partnership with the City of Joplin and the Economic Security Corporation of Southwest Area. Reporting in Joplin, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
Now, the goal of the program is to increase property value and reduce code enforcement problems in Joplin. Well, Chief Meteorologist Doug Hattie joining us now with a first look at weather.
Well, it definitely turned out to be another nice day for us today all week long. We've had temperatures 4 highs into the 80s, which is below our average high because our average high is 90 degrees. Now, 2 main stories over the next few days. Temperatures go up, humidity goes up, but also chances for rain. So let's look at the temps. We get back up, depending on cloud cover tomorrow, 90 to about 92 degrees. We're going to be in that same boat once again as we head into the weekend. 90s for highs, plus that humidity starts to increase. Now, until we get there, it looks pretty good. Look at this today, 82, average high 90, 103 was a record set back in 1983. Pretty much clear skies. Not a whole bunch is going on. We're going to stay fairly quiet as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight. We'll drop back to about 62 degrees, 77 by 10. We're going to look at that heat, plus those rain chances, all coming up here in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Doug. The Neosho School District is mourning after learning the woman killed in a Newton County crash yesterday was a longtime staff member. Authorities have identified the victim as Autumn Qualls, a librarian for the Neosho School District. They say Qualls was stopped for a school bus when a pickup struck the rear of Qualls' car. Qualls had worked in the school district for almost 20 years, including as a librarian for Neosho Middle School. The price of gold has hit an all-time recorded high this week, making the precious metal more valuable than ever. But a Pittsburgh jewelry store hopes to warn customers about a scam involving fake gold that is growing in popularity. KOAM's Samantha Walker has more on what this scam looks like.
I kind of thought it would be a hit and miss type of thing and move on, but it's been fairly consistent.
Chad Como, owner of Como Jewelry, frequently helps appraise customer jewelry at his Pittsburgh store, but recently he's had dozens of customers come in with gold jewelry that's not what it seems.
Unfortunately, we spot it as it walks through the door, because typically people have it in their hand, and the closer they get, the more we realize exactly what it is that they're bringing in. What they thought to be gold, to find out that it's actually gold-plated, inexpensive product from Asia.
He says customers have come in with the exact same story. They're approached in a parking lot at a truck stop or a store by someone in a vehicle with out-of-state plates. They're told an emotional story about why this person needs money, and the scam victims are asked to help by giving money in exchange for what they are told is real gold jewelry.
The price of gold may play a role in that. It may not play a role in that. It could just simply be that because the success that they're having with people with a big heart here in the 4 states, they're preying on that. Be aware that this kind of thing is going on.
While these sorts of scammers can often be hard to track, the Pittsburgh Police Department encourages anyone who has experienced this to speak with them.
Tell them you engage in a financial transaction and you think somebody's trying to take advantage of the situation. They're trying to sell fraudulent property. And again, it may not be a crime, but at the very least we'll have officers respond and potentially identify who the actors involved and get some additional information on what's going on.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
The Pittsburgh Police Department recommends purchasing high-value items such as gold from reputable sources that you trust to avoid potential scams. Well, a group of students got to trade in the classroom for the campgrounds today. 6th graders from the Arma School District took a field trip to 5 Mile Camp in Quapaw, Oklahoma. Kids got to ride horses, do craft projects, and even take in a zip line.
Yeah, it was like a big drop. It was a lot of G-forces, that's for sure.
We got scared. Like when you first jumped off,
Yeah.
it's scary, but face your fears.
Yeah.
It's the experience, getting to come here. Not everybody has horses that they can ride or get to go zip line every day or some of the things that they get to do. So just being able to hold on to those memories that they get to have, especially bringing it into a smaller group and doing it with their friends.
Organizers said the field trip provided a cool way to kick off the school year. Well, the 81st annual Lamar Free Fair is underway this week. Those in attendance were able to enjoy a variety of events, including livestock shows, arts and crafts, parades, concerts, and much more. For first-time exhibitors, it's a new opportunity to show off their skills and hard work.
I just wanted to show because it sounds fun and it's just a good way to just do stuff.
Well, my sister and brother would walk a pig, so my mom and dad said, you're old enough to walk anything, and I chose a pig.
Well, the fair opened yesterday and will run through Saturday. Coming up, a push for prevention as numbers surge.
Health officials are making another push for COVID vaccines as case numbers increase in more than 24 states. I'm Jonathan Seri in Atlanta. I'll have details coming up.
Fasting between meals is a popular way to stay in shape or lose weight. And while there are many documented benefits, a new study by MIT reveals a potential downside. The study looked at how mice responded to fasting. It showed fasting can delay the onset of some age-related diseases and lengthen lifespan, but it also created an elevated risk for the mice to develop early-stage intestinal tumors. The study authors caution about making the same conclusion for humans and say further studies are needed. Women who suffer a common complication after heart surgery are more likely than men to die. New research by Brigham and Women's Hospital found while female patients were less likely to develop atrial fibrillation after surgery, those who did had a higher risk of long-term mortality than men. Researchers say further studies are needed to understand the disparity. A rapidly spreading COVID variant is leading to a surge of infections across much of the country. The FDA today approved updated COVID boosters from Moderna and Pfizer, which will be widely available in the coming weeks. Fox News correspondent Jonathan Seri has more.
As summer winds down, new CDC data show COVID cases on the rise in at least 25 states. Public health officials say the surge is due in part to a family of variants known as flirt variants.
We're still seeing very similar symptoms, so fevers, chills, flu-like illness.
The CDC has been using wastewater testing to detect potential outbreaks in communities, even as many residents are not showing obvious COVID symptoms. Levels remain high in the West and South.
We reached our lowest point ever during the pandemic at the end of April, beginning of May, but unfortunately it's really accelerated.
An updated COVID booster is expected to become widely available next month, but demand for these shots has been low. As of May, CDC data show only 22% of adults received the vaccine booster that came out last September.
Vaccines reduce your risk of having to go to the ER, reduces your risk significantly of having to get hospitalized and death.
Doctors say vaccines also reduce the risk of lingering COVID symptoms. A new study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association finds long COVID affects children and teens differently than it does adults. Younger children are more likely to face stomach pain and trouble focusing, while teens typically experience fatigue and loss of smell or taste. Until now, long COVID studies have focused mainly on adults. Researchers say this new data can help guide treatments for children. In Atlanta, Jonathan Seri, Fox News.
Well, Doug is next with a complete look at your forecast, and later we'll check in on the Riverton football team as they near the end of their first week of practice.
Well, of course, another great day for us today. Temperatures have been into the 80s all week long. We were mid-80s yesterday, back into lower 80s today, a little bit cooler. The cloud cover kept our temperatures down just a bit, but hey, we will definitely take it. Plus, the humidity all week long has been low. These are our dew points. So dew points measure in a degree fashion our humidity. When you see 50s in the month of August, that's pretty good. It makes it feel pleasant to not bad. You just don't want to be up here in that muggy to soupy range. Bad news here is our humidity levels will start to increase just a bit as we go through the next few days. We do have some rain chances in the forecast. And of course, it's Thursday. That means the new drought tracker comes out. Even though we've had decent amounts of rain in August, most of the area is dry. Then you can see a sliver from Girard, Pittsburgh, Joplin, Neosho down to Anderson that we do have a moderate drought. So even though those rain chances are in the forecast, fingers crossed that a lot of us can at least get a little bit of rain. Had some clouds today, pretty much clear skies now. That's what we're going to see as we go through the overnight hours tonight. Still tracking big dome of high pressure now around this wave. Follow the arrows and you can see little waves will drop in, giving us hit and miss showers and thunderstorms from time to time as we go through the weekend. So let's look at the heat. Let's look at the rain chances. By morning, showers and thunderstorms to our west. Watch as these push in. They just kind of die. May get a random shower, Kansas or Oklahoma. Most of us dry, keeping our temps down just a bit. With enough sunshine, most of us should get 90, 92 degrees once we get into the afternoon. Tomorrow night, it's going to be pretty muggy. We're only going to drop back lower 70s. Watch scattered thunderstorms develop southwestern Missouri, northwestern Arkansas. Most of these on the Missouri and Arkansas side, not much Kansas or Oklahoma. We'll have to see if these can shove back toward the west just a little bit. Here's Saturday morning, still some scattered thunderstorms central Missouri by the afternoon, but I think most of us by the afternoon fairly dry, highs into lower 90s. Hit and miss scattered storms again Saturday night into Sunday morning, and then again, partly sunny skies and hot Sunday afternoon. We'll have to see where those storms set up. A lot of areas will pick up a tenth, quarter of an inch, maybe a half an inch of rain in spots. Better chances for that to occur will be in southwestern Missouri, but hopefully we get a little bit of rain. I know it kind of stinks on the weekend. Heat indices going up, mid-90s tomorrow. Then we approach 95 to 100 once we get into Saturday afternoon. So it's going to feel a little bit more muggy out there. 64 to start, 85 by noon. High temp, 92 degrees. Check out the weekend. Some morning storms Saturday, hit and miss storms Sunday, mid-90s, heat index is going to be right around 100 to about 102 as we go through the weekend. 93 Saturday, 95 Sunday, 96 on Monday, getting a little bit hotter, and then we stay mainly into the 90s as we go through most of next week.
Well, pieces of Carthage, Missouri history are up for sale this week. The descendants of some of the founding members of the city held an estate sale at Carthage's Memorial Hall. The Phelps are known for their extensive service to the community of Carthage. KOAM's Lonnie Walton has their story.
Although Pat and Caroline Phelps are gone, their dedication and legacy isn't. They dedicated their entire lives to the service of others.
They were on about every church committee, city committee, school board. My mom was on school board, I think, when I was in third grade till well after I was married.
They both graduated from the University of Missouri. Pat earned a law degree, and Caroline earned an education degree. Learning was not a choice in the Phelps family.
So my mother was on school board from third grade until after I was married. the long run. Education was extremely important to them. They're also on Board of Regents at Missouri Southern.
The Phelps generosity was given, but it continues to pass on.
We've had family generations here for years, so they love their town, they love the history of the town, but also their parents were like that. So it was just passed down to them.
The favorite things the Phelps loved are stored away by the remaining family, but they didn't take everything.
My father loved glassware, so there's a lot of glassware here. We've kept a lot. He loves shot glasses, and my kids were sure to get the ones back that they had given him from different countries and places they had been.
And there's still quite a few items left for those interested. Reporting live in Joplin, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
The sale continues tomorrow from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Well, coming up, a labor dispute among Canadian railroad companies could be billions of dollars in damages to the U.S. economy. Canada's major freight railroads came to a full stop today because of a contract dispute with their workers. But now the Canadian government ordered the railroads to enter a binding arbitration to get them moving again. Industry experts estimate the historic rail stoppage could have caused billions of dollars worth of economic damage and wreak havoc on North American supply chains.
Canada and the U.S. are tightly integrated, particularly in the auto industry and in energy. A lot of the United States runs on Canadian oil, tar sands, other things, and a lot of what we consider American cars are actually assembled in Canada. And a one-week one would be over $1 billion in terms of U.S. costs.
Canada sends about 78% of all of its exports to the U.S. Gen Z is the first generation to be connected to technology since birth, and screens are a part of everyday life. But now they're putting the tech down and trying to meet matches offline. Fox's Anna Elopoulos has more on this shift in dating culture.
Tinder is probably the worst thing ever created.
And he might not be alone in his thinking. Younger generations are dumping the dating apps, instead opting to meet people IRL, in real life.
I'm out here.
For America's younger generations, dating apps have always been the norm. But recent data by Eventbrite shows that over the last year, more and more younger singles are logging off for love, shifting to meeting a mate in person. Two main reasons: a feeling that app algorithms aren't doing a good job matching them, and overall dating fatigue.
It just feels like people are tired of the screens and they want something different.
Aware of the challenges singles face dating online, Maxine Williams pounced on this trend, creating We Meet IRL, which has been rebranding speed dating over the last 2 years, helping singles 25 to 35 to stop messaging and start talking face to face.
I personally just don't think we were ever meant to connect romantically through a screen. When it comes to attraction, it's kind of like all the five senses have to be there. Like, you want to smell someone's perfume or cologne. You want to hear how they laugh. You want to see how they walk and talk. And those things you don't really get from a dating app.
The data also shows 45% of Gen Z and 35% of millennials say it's difficult to use an app to find a match who shares their interests. And almost half believe meeting in real life is safer.
Much safer in that environment than going on a random coffee date with a random person in a random location.
Cassidy Davis is the founder of the Chaotic Singles Party, monthly mixers that took off in 2022 after she and her friends invited dozens of people they saw on dating apps but had never met in person.
I actually got invited here by Jenna. We matched on Bumble not even 2 hours ago.
I think the unorthodox approach helps bring people together because it automatically breaks the ice.
Davis met her boyfriend Kenyon in real life just days before the first Chaotic party. He was there despite not being a total stranger. Still, the couple of 2 years agrees the formula works.
I know about 40 couples by name who are still dating that I've met at my parties. One of them just went on their first vacation together. Another one just introduced each other to their parents.
We're still waiting for that first chaotic wedding, though.
Yeah.
In New York, Anna Elopoulos, Fox News.
Up next, researchers say they may have discovered proof the moon once had an ocean of magma. Indian researchers say they found signs an ocean made of magma was once on the moon. The lunar lander Chandrayaan-3 landed on the moon's south pole last August, exploring an isolated area where no craft had touched down before. Scientists say they found an area once covered in an ocean of liquid molten rock. That could mean the magma ocean existed when the moon formed about 4.5 billion years ago. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports is coming your way. The Democratic National Convention wraps up with a history-making nomination. Plus, how the U.S. plans to support Ukraine's continued efforts to push into Russian territory.
You're watching the 4 States Most Watched News.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. Kamala Harris is officially the Democratic nominee to become the next president of the United States. The vice president accepted the nomination tonight on the final day of the Democratic National Convention. She is now the first black woman and first Asian American to accept a major party's nomination. With the DNC now behind her, Vice President Harris will return to the campaign trail to make her final push ahead of November. Former President Donald Trump and Ohio Senator J.D. Vance are focusing on immigration on the campaign trail today. The former president visited the border in Arizona while Vance hosted an event in Georgia. At a rally yesterday in North Carolina, Donald Trump talked about the pointed criticisms former President and First Lady Barack and Michelle Obama aimed at him at the DNC.
He was taking shots at your president, and so was Michelle. You know, they always say, sure, please stick to policy, don't get personal. And yet they're getting personal all night long, these people. Do I still have to stick to policy?
In another possible campaign development, sources say candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is considering ending his campaign for president as soon as tomorrow and is moving closer to endorsing Trump. Ukraine's Air Force says it used a U.S.-made bomb to strike a Russian military target in the Kursk region. President Biden has claimed the U.S. has steadfast support for Ukraine and has the receipts to prove it. Since 2022, aid packages have come in at a grand total of approximately $175 billion in support of their efforts. Fox News correspondent Lucas Tomlinson reports from the Pentagon.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky makes his first visit to the border since his forces entered Russian territory more than 2 weeks ago. Meanwhile, Russian President Vladimir Putin, who has downplayed the attacks, held a meeting with local governors about the incursion.
The enemy was trying to hit the nuclear power plant overnight.
Ukraine's push into Russia comes as both sides are using drones to attack far behind enemy lines. New satellite imagery shows a Russian oil depot burning for the 5th consecutive day after being hit by Ukrainian drone strike. Russian officials in the Kursk region are quickly building up their defenses. These new concrete shelters are being rapidly installed to help protect civilians.
We plan to install 60 shelters near public places to keep people safe from shrapnel.
This advance into Russian territory is the first time Ukrainian forces have engaged in combat beyond their own borders since Russia first invaded Ukraine in 2014. Zelensky says it's all part of a systematic effort to end the war on Ukraine's terms. But the Pentagon has admitted they were not given a heads up about this recent operation.
Ukraine should really speak to their objectives and goals, and that's still something that we're trying to learn from them on how this fits in to their strategic operations.
Zelensky says his forces do not plan on permanently occupying these new villages inside Russia. He just wants to create a buffer zone to prevent further attacks. At the Pentagon, Lucas Tomlinson, Fox News.
Well, a bit later, investigating a sunken super yacht.
Investigators are still trying to figure out how a super yacht off the coast of Sicily sunk so quickly. I'm Madison Scarpino in London. I'll have the details coming up.
Well, of course, another great day for us today. Temperatures have been into the 80s all week long. We were mid-80s yesterday, back into lower 80s today, a little bit cooler. The cloud cover kept our temperatures down just a bit, but hey, we will definitely take it. Plus the humidity all week long has been low. These are our dew points. So dew points measure in a degree fashion our humidity. When you see 50s in the month of August, that's pretty good. It makes it feel pleasant to not bad. You just don't want to be up here in that muggy to soupy range. Bad news here is our humidity levels will start to increase just a bit as we go through the next few days. We do have some rain chances in the forecast. And of course, it's Thursday. That means the new drought tracker comes out. Even though we've had decent amounts of rain in August, most of the area is dry. Then you can see a sliver from Girard, Pittsburgh, Joplin, Neosho down to Anderson that we do have a moderate drought. So even though those rain chances are in the forecast, fingers crossed that a lot of us can at least get a little bit of rain. Had some clouds today, pretty much clear skies now. That's what we're going to see as we go through the overnight hours tonight. Still tracking big dome of high pressure now around this wave. Follow the arrows, and you can see little waves will drop in, giving us hit and miss showers and thunderstorms from time to time as we go through the weekend. So let's look at the heat. Let's look at the rain chances. By morning, showers and thunderstorms to our west. Watch as these push in. They just kind of die. May get a random shower, Kansas or Oklahoma. Most of us dry, keeping our temps down just a bit. With enough sunshine, most of us should get 90, 92 degrees once we get into the afternoon. Tomorrow night, it's going to be pretty muggy. We're only going to drop back lower 70s. Watch scattered thunderstorms develop southwestern Missouri, northwestern Arkansas. Most of these on the Missouri and Arkansas side, not much Kansas or Oklahoma. We'll have to see if these can shove back toward the west just a little bit. Here's Saturday morning. Still some scattered thunderstorms central Missouri by the afternoon, but I think most of us by the afternoon fairly dry. Highs into lower 90s. Hit and miss scattered storms again Saturday night into Sunday morning, and then again partly sunny skies and hot Sunday afternoon. We'll have to see where those storms set up. A lot of areas will pick up a tenth, quarter of an inch, maybe a half an inch of rain in spots. Better chances for that to occur will be in southwestern Missouri, but hopefully we get a little bit of rain. I know it kind of stinks on the weekend. Heat indices going up, mid-90s tomorrow. Then we approach 95 to 100 once we get into Saturday afternoon. So it's going to feel a little bit more muggy out there. 64 to start, 85 by noon. High temp, 92 degrees. Check out the weekend. Some morning storms Saturday, hit and miss storms Sunday, mid-90s, heat index is going to be right around 100 to about 102 as we go through the weekend. 93 Saturday, 95 Sunday, 96 on Monday, getting a little bit hotter, and then we stay mainly into the 90s as we go through most of next week.
Well, the last few harvests have been tough on farmers in the Ozarks, especially with peach and apple orchards. Nicolette Zangara shows us how growers are managing this year's growing conditions.
Apples from Murphy's Orchard play a big role in apple festivals between Missouri and Arkansas this time of year. The last few years, it's been a struggle to keep up with demand between drought, late season frost, and hail events. But the owner of the farm is feeling optimistic about this year. Late season frost has been public enemy number one.
Last year, we probably ended up with only about a 50% apple crop and 0% peach crop.
Apples had to be imported for fall festivals, which costs more for farmers and customers alike. This year, early blooms resulted in some crop loss, but it wasn't detrimental.
We lost probably about 75% of our peaches. Apples bloomed about a week later. Had a little bit of frost damage on them, but for the most part, we've got a bumper crop this year on our apples.
Mark Kaywood drove up from Arkansas after having trouble finding a local orchard. He and his family thought the apples were worth the drive.
Yeah, we like to get fresh when we can. You know, they were different. Some of them were sweeter and some of them were firmer than the others, but they were all delicious.
Murphy Orchards is also known for its cider, and there will be plenty of it this season thanks to hail.
We've got about 30 or 40% hail damage in our apples right now, so that's one reason why we'll have a few more cider apples than we normally do.
Murphy says some rain would be nice right about now, but all of his fields are irrigated. The biggest thing he worries about this late in the season are hail events.
Well, coming up in sports, the Cardinals try to win their second game in a row, plus Riverton High School football prepares for the 2024 season. John Dales has those stories and more up next.
High school football season continues to get closer and closer. Missouri teams play their jamborees tomorrow night, and schools are approaching the end of their first week of practice in Kansas, which is where our 2024 season previews take us today. Riverton High School football closes in on the end of its first week of practice. The Rams advanced to the second round of the 2A playoffs a year ago before getting knocked out by Humboldt. Riverton graduated 12 seniors from that team, so this year's Rams will be younger, but their strength is the offensive line.
You know, those guys, when I took over 3 years ago, they were sophomores and they all played. We kind of threw them to the wolves, and they've had to spend that time of learning by error a little bit more than learning by success. Last year they were very successful. We graduated one senior last year, so our offensive line and our defensive lines are going to be real high with our senior class, and we're expecting them to lead us on both sides of the ball. The familiarity with what we're ready to do, we feel like we're able to start a little farther than we have been in the past.
Our O-line is looking really good. We got 4 seniors on the line and 1 junior, and our skills players are young, but they're stepping up this year.
Switching gears to Major League Baseball, the Cardinals had lost 7 of their last 8 games before last night. In that game, they entered the 9th inning, trailing by 2. They forced extra innings, then Nolan Arenado hit a walk-off grand slam in the 10th. That brings up the rubber match between the Cardinals and Brewers today. Miles Michaelis dealing. First, he punches out Garrett Mitchell looking. Then in the second, he gets Gary Sanchez swinging. Michaelis with 6 scoreless innings, 3 strikeouts. In the 4th, still no score. Lars Nootbaar goes deep on this fly ball, but Garrett Mitchell leaps and takes away a home run from Nootbaar. That keeps it scoreless. We go into the 7th, still 0-0. Bases are loaded at this point for the Cardinals. And the first run of the game comes on a bases-loaded walk from Wilson Contreras. Just 2 batters later, there's Arenado again. He hits the Bryce Wilson pitch into the gap. Alec Burleson comes in to score. The Cardinals get 3 runs in the 8th inning. They win it 3-0. And it's a long season, obviously 162 games for baseball. So even though the Cardinals have been struggling in this second half, that seems like it could be a galvanizing moment. Winning in a walk-off grand slam last night, you turn it into another win today.
Yeah, they could have just won last night and then lost today, but nah, they're on a roll.
Yeah, and still a lot of time left to play.
Very true. All right, thanks, John. We're back with more news after this. Specialized divers continue to search for a woman still missing after a super yacht sunk off the coast of Sicily. The bodies of 5 others have been recovered. Many in the boating world are in shock. A vessel like this could disappear in a storm so quickly. Fox News correspondent Madison Scarpino has more.
The Italian Coast Guard says it has recovered the body of British tech entrepreneur Mike Lynch from the wreckage of the super yacht that sank off the coast of Sicily. A survivor arrived at the port Thursday, hugging others as rescue workers loaded a body into an ambulance. The super yacht, carrying 22 passengers and crew, disappeared beneath the waves in a matter of minutes when violent weather struck Monday. 15 people managed to get to safety on a rescue boat. Special rescuers resumed search operations Thursday, facing tough conditions.
What they're required to do is to go inside and pick their way meticulously through the structure of a newly sunk ship. Now, when a vessel sinks, everything's going to be where it shouldn't be. That's going to reduce visibility.
Questions remain as to how the super yacht sunk so quickly, while a nearby boat that rescued survivors escaped the storm unscathed. The yacht manufacturer describes the design of the luxury boat.
It is well known that the sailing boat is the safest in the most absolute sense. First of all, because they have very little surface compared to a yacht facing into the wind. Second, with the structure, the drift kill, they become unsinkable bodies.
Lynch's wife, who is among the survivors, owns the yacht. The voyage was supposed to be a celebration of the British tech magnate's recent acquittal of fraud charges. In London, Madison Scarpino, Fox News.
Well, coming up, Netflix releases a first look and premiere date for season 3 of Lincoln Lawyer. The Lincoln Lawyer returns this fall, and a global icon returns to Las Vegas. Fox's Kristen Goodwin has those stories and more in the Hollywood Nation.
Driver leads a sci-fi epic. Taylor-Joy returns to Netflix, and Jackson launches a new residency in the Hollywood nation. Janet Jackson is returning to Sin City for Janet Jackson Las Vegas. The global icon will launch her new Resorts World Las Vegas residency at Resorts World Theater with back-to-back performances on December 30th and 31st. Those shows will be followed by 8 additional concerts set for 2025, including Valentine's Day weekend. Anya Taylor-Joy reteaming with Netflix for a new project. The actor who starred in her breakout role in the streamer's hit drama The Queen's Gambit has signed on to lead the upcoming limited series How to Kill Your Family. The show is based on the best-selling novel of the same name and centers on a woman's murder plot to inherit a fortune.
No rest for the weary, huh?
Netflix also released first-look images and announced the premiere date for Season 3 of The Lincoln Lawyer. The popular legal drama returns October 17th with Manuel Garcia Rolfo heading back to the courtroom as criminal defense attorney Mickey Haller.
Go.
Lionsgate shared the first official trailer to Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis. The sci-fi Roman epic drama set in an imagined modern America features 3 characters fighting for power in the declining empire, New Rome. Adam Driver leads the star-studded cast, which includes Giancarlo Esposito, Aubrey Plaza, Shia LaBeouf, and Lawrence Fishburne. The film arrives in theaters September 27th.
People don't need dreams. People need help now.
In Hollywood, Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
A lot of interesting things happening. That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of giraffes at the Berlin Zoo. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.